Hi, my name is Sasha. Welcome back to my channel, Sash Reads, and this is my October wrap-up. So, I know this is super late. Just get over it. Let's go to my recap. So, for the month of October, I read 14 books, which is pretty good considering. I read a total amount of 4,972 pages, which is pretty cool. I read from 6 authors of colour, which is really good. My favourite read of the month was The Empress of Time by Kylie Lee Baker. This was chef's kiss amazing. Such a great finish to Ren's story. And then my worst read of the month was The Last Final Girl by Stephen Graham Jones. I think the audio just ruined it for me. Maybe if I read it physically, but anyway. I read 6 physical books, 2 audiobooks, and 6 ebooks. I had 5 5-star reads, 8 4-star reads, and 1 2-star read. So let us get into the books that I read. So I started off with The Empress of Time. This was kindly sent to me by Harlequin Australia, so thank you so much, Harlequin, for sending me 2 copies of this book. And then I also have the NetGalley too. So I read the NetGalley, but then I have a finished copy. So I love this book. So this focuses on Ren after the events of Keeper of Night and how she has to deal with things happening. I can't really go into it much because that means I'd be spoiling Keeper of Night. I really don't want to do that. What you have to do is you just have to read Keeper of Night and then read Empress of Time, and then we can gush it about it together. All I know is this book made me laugh, it made me sob, it made me blush. There's just lots of things about this book and I love it. I love how morally grey Ren is, and even when she makes not the greatest decisions, she still doesn't back down. And I love that. And I love how fiercely loyal she is to her family. And yes, definitely I love this book. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, this next book was also a contender for favourite of the month, and that is They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. This I read as an ebook and I read it for Stabathon, so go check out my Stabathon vlog where I read it. And now this is such a good book. So it's got your female serial killer, but she only kills guys who deserve it, who gets away with rape and abuse and money laundering and things like that. And so this book focuses on 2 different perspectives. So you've got, I think it's Charlotte and Carly, possibly, I can't quite remember. So you got Carly, who's a freshman at this university, and she's got this kind of annoying roommate. I mean, Carly's in love with her. And then you've got Charlotte, who is the teacher at this university, and she is also the serial killer. And it's about how like those 2 perspectives intertwine. And everyone was telling me about how the twist in this book was just phenomenal and it was amazing and jaw-dropping. So I was looking for it. I'm like trying to figure things out. It did not go the way I was expecting. The twist in this book is phenomenal. I love it. It was amazing. And once figuring out, like, once you get told like about that twist, all the other twists, like all the other like plot twists you kind of see coming, but other than that, like, I loved it and I definitely want to get my own copy of this book. I then read The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson for Jan's book club, the Full Moon Book Club. This was also for Stabathon as well, and this is a Carrie retelling. And so you've got Carrie character, I can't remember her name. Anyway, she's mixed, but she's white passing, and her dad doesn't want anyone to know that she is mixed, so she's always trying to like make sure her hair's straight all the time, and she's always checking the weather, and so if it's like gonna rain that day, she won't go to school. Anyway, unfortunately it rains this one day and everyone finds out that she's not who she says she was, and it all goes from there. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. This was a really good YA. I watched the 2016 version of Carrie and pretty much like when I was reading The Way to Blood, the movie was coming back to me because it was really good. It's definitely a retelling. It's not a reimagining, it's a retelling. But I loved how it left it open-ended, and I really hope that the two characters are together, because that'd be really sad if they're not. I then read Bad Witch Burning by Jessica Lewis. I don't know where my dust jacket's gone. So this is a YA paranormal about this girl. What was your name? Cottrell. So it's about Cottrell, who she can talk to ghosts, like she can write letters to ghosts and they like reply, and so she kind of makes like a side hustle from that. She's in high school, her mum's a deadbeat, her mum's boyfriend is an idiot, and so she's just trying to basically just get enough money to pay rent each month and make sure their lights don't go out and all things like that. Be warned, there is an animal death in this. And then you've got zombies as well, because Cottrell realizes that she gets like this cryptic message from one of the ghosts, and which tells her to like stop using her powers or it's all gonna like go crazy. Anyway, she accidentally raises someone from the dead, and so she starts charging other people to raise their loved ones from the dead. And she's like, this is awesome, like I'm getting like $5 grand for each like zombie. But like, yeah, she doesn't realize that they're zombies. Like she thinks that they're like just good, like they're just alive again, but yeah, they're not all there. And so it all kind of unravels from there, and Cottrell starts getting like really sick as well. I really enjoyed it. What did I give it? I did give it 5 stars. And I definitely will read whatever else Jessica Lewis writes. I then listened to The Last Final Girl by Stephen Graham Jones. Like I said earlier, I did not like this book. Because it's written like a script, it would have thrived if it had a full cast audiobook. But because it didn't, it had that one guy whose female voice was the same for every female character, so I didn't know what the heck was going on. I was just very confused the whole time, and yeah, it was a 2-star read for me. I then read Jan's Patreon had a 24-hour readathon, so I read X-Hex by Erin Sterling, and this is a nice witchy rom-com about this small town, second chance romance. It's one of Jan's favorite books. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Well, it was good. I liked it, and I probably would read it again, but I didn't love it. I don't know. Like, I don't know. There was just something about it that wasn't a 5-star read for me. I still really enjoyed it, and I definitely will read the next book in this series. So you've got this girl who works in a small town, and she's kind of just, she's not just found out she's a witch, but her parents kind of kept it from her. Anyway, her and this guy, they had like a whirlwind summer romance, and then he broke it off. Well, no, she broke it off because he's like, I gotta go break off my engagement. And she's like, hang on, what? And he's like, no, like, it wasn't like I'm betrothed, like I don't like her, like we're, and she's like, nah, you've been cheating on her with me, like, nah, that's not gonna happen. He has to come back to do these ley line things, and they meet again. Things start going wrong because just after they broke up, like 10 years ago, she was like mixing vodka and magic, which you're not supposed to do, and she put a little hex on him. But because he was thriving back in Scotland or wherever, she didn't think it worked. But he comes back and things start going down, and she's like, oh shit, I gotta fix this. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I then read The Butterfly Project by, oh, who wrote that? I can't remember. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. I read this because it was a Taylor Swift themed readathon, and Gabby from Gabby Reads has this video where she talks about like books to read if this is your favorite song, and I chose the song If You Are in Love, 1989 album, because that was my first dance wedding song with my husband, and was just all the feels. I really enjoyed this book. I liked the graphic novel aspect of it. I liked how they both had like tortured pasts, and it was just a really, it was a really nice romance with some underlying messages that I really enjoyed. I then read The Midnight Girls by Alicia Jasinska because one of the prompts was read a book with midnight in the title. This is a sapphic YA fantasy about two witches who have always been competing against each other because they're like prospective Baba Yagas. So you've got like the red Baba Yaga, the yellow Baba Yaga, and the black Baba Yaga. So those Baba Yagas have these three underlings, right? And so the underlings always try to get these hearts for their masters to eat. But one of the girls is like, I'm in a very intense competition with the other girl, but the other girl is not really, she doesn't realize this competition. And so she starts eating the hearts for herself, and she's like, what the heck? And she's like, I want to run away, I don't want to be a servant anymore. And she's like, I want to beat you. And then they realize they kind of have like attraction towards each other. And I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I'll definitely read more from this author. I do have The Dark Tide, which I plan on reading probably next year. But it was a really nice YA fantasy, and it was queer, so always love that. I then read Wild Sweet Love by Beverly Jenkins for the Historical Romance Readathon. I have a vlog for this, so I'll link that up for you. But this was a really nice historical romance. It's an American one, and they are based in America, duh. So you've got Teresa here, Teresa July, who is a well-known bank robber, train robber, and at the start of the book she's been arrested and she's been sent to prison, but because she's like kept her head down, she's been listening to the jailers, she gets told that she's got a second chance. And so this lady has kind of like sponsored her to live back in the real world and rehabilitate her. And so it's a romance between Teresa July and that lady's son, Madison Vance, and he is a banker. So we've got the bank robber and banker romance. They start off on the wrong foot because he's like, she is a criminal, why does my mum have her in her house? The last criminal that was mum like sponsored ran off with all her valuables. This one's just going to do the same thing. I really enjoyed the attitude that Teresa had because she didn't grow up prim and proper. I loved her attitude and the way she spoke and everything. The way she always kept Madison on his toes. I didn't give it a full 5 stars because there was just lots of weird horse metaphors during sexy time. And I was like, that's just a bit too weird for me. But I'm definitely going to read more by Beverly Jenkins. And I had a really good time with this book. And like Meredith and I had reading sprints where we read together. And it was just really nice. And I'm definitely going to read more historical romances because it was a really nice, fun, cheesy time, and I loved it. I then read Queen Takes Road. So I have finished my Wicked Villains series read along, which I was doing just by myself, but I was reading one a month and I finished it. This one I gave 4 stars. Why did I give it 4 stars? It's probably more like a high 3 now that I think about it. Just like, you've watched Aurora like grow and her character arc from the first book all the way to this one. You find out that she doesn't really like Malone because Malone took her mum's territory when Aurora was only like 10 or something. Aurora's bargain or deal with Hades is about to finish, so Malone's like, all right, I'm gonna like get her for 2 weeks and I'm gonna fuck her and just get her out of my system so I can stop being obsessed with her. And Aurora was like, okay, 2 weeks, cool, I'm gonna kill Malone for killing my mum.
I'm on my way to murder Elena.
And yeah, it was a fun time. There was just lots of talking about Katie Roberts' other series. I think she was like trying to hype up her 7 Brothers for 7 Wives series that she never actually finished. So I was like reading this book and there's lots of talk about Sabine Valley and I'm just like, do we really need that? Because like Malone comes from Sabine Valley. And yeah, I'm glad I finished the series. It was getting a bit repetitive by the end of it. I probably will read the Wicked short stories soon, and then I've got it all out of my system, and then I'll probably start another Katie Roberts series. Like I've read Neon Gods. I might finish the rest of the books or she's got lots of other series that I could start. I then listened to The Rise of the Jumbies by, this is the sequel to The Jumbies, and it's a spooky middle grade, Caribbean middle grade, and it was a really fun time. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was just a fun time. Like, a spooky middle grade is what I needed, and I really enjoyed The Jumbies, so I liked reading the second one. You met some new monsters and some new Jumbies, and you find a little bit more about the island. And yeah, I then read for Vampathon Shadow Princess by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. This is the 4th book in the Zodiac Academy series. 5 out of 5 stars. I shouldn't though, because that ending full on killed me. It ripped my heart out. I loved Lance Orion. I still love Lance. I will always love Lance Orion. He's so good. I hated Tori in this book. Tori was so friggin' stupid, and she was all like pity party, like woe is me, woe is me. Oh no, I've got 2 boys after me. I can't choose any of them because they are the heirs and they're trying to take my throne from me, but I don't want my throne, but they're so mean to me. Why would I choose them? And shut up, Tori. Shut up. But I really love Darcy. Darcy's my favorite twin, and I'm glad that Tori finally, excuse you, I'm glad that Tori has finally found out about Lance. And oh my god, what are you doing? Of course someone decides to mow now. Anyway, I'm glad that Tori has finally found out about Lance and Darcy. I hate Seth. I don't think he's ever going to be redeemable. Apparently he is going to be though. This is what Jess and Ash has said, but I don't see it. I don't want it. I don't like it. I also am enjoying like the side romance between Max and Geraldine. That's just like, Max is just so obsessed with her, and Geraldine's like, no, like, go away. I then read Black Sunshine for Vampathon. This is a dark vampire romance. So you've got Lenore, who is half witch, half vampire, but she had no idea that she was either until her 18th birthday, is because she started turning into a vampire. She found out that when she was younger, her her adoptive parents killed her biological parents, but she didn't realize her parents were adopted. So that was like a whirlwind, and she gets like kidnapped, and she falls in love with her kidnapper because he's actually like, look, I'm not actually going to sell you. I just wanted to show you off. And there's one jealousy scene in this book that I adored, and I need more jealousy scenes. I'm reading a book at the moment, what was meant to be by QB Tyler, and the first like half the book is just one big jealousy like book, and I love it. I'm definitely going to continue on with the Black Sunshine series though, and read more by Karina Halley. And then last but not least, I read the Twilight graphic novel volume 1. I gave it 4 stars. I love the artwork, and I love how, like, I probably wouldn't reread Twilight again. I know I was going to, but I don't know if like I really want to commit to rereading the whole book, but like reading the graphic novel, it's got like all the important parts, and it was just a really good time. Those are all the books that I read in October. Let me know down below what your favorite book that you read in October. If you got to the end of this video, put a blue heart emoji in the comments below, because in Solaria, blue is Moriel, but to me, blue means you. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget you can like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. You can also add me on Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter. They're all at sashreads. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Bye.